Okay, welcome back. Said it was only going to be a short one, didn't I? Thank you for joining the stream again. This is now stage 2 of the Greystoke stages 2025. And just something we need to talk about very quickly. The minis are here this year, and they're all out celebrating the life of a fellow competitor who passed away sadly last year around this event, Andy Watson. It was on this event where Andy unfortunately lost his life, not on the actual event itself, but on the road section when he had a heart attack and died, which is a real shame. And it's in memory of Andy that Guy and the rest of the team were wanting to come back here with the minis and to put on a show for Andy and his love for the sport. So we're thinking of Andy's family at this time, 12 months on from his death. But, hopefully we're flying the flag high this weekend at Greystoke for Andy Watson. Okay, back to the action on the stages then. And we have Alan Carmichael back in stage and making his way towards me as I speak. What I'm going to do is try and find some results for you this morning. Okay, blasting his way into stage 2 then, and leading the event actually quite comfortably as well. Alan Carmichael, Harry Walshaw, stage 1 time set was a 7 minutes 9 seconds. Closest person to him was actually Angus Laurie with a 7:36, so a good 25 or more second advantage as they go into stage 2 here. That didn't stop him from taking a wrong slot after the end of the stage and coming back down the escape road here, wrong direction, and trying to squeeze past all the cars and vans that the marshals and media have parked on the dead leg. So he found his way around the forest okay when he needed to, but took a wrong slot at the end of the stage. Okay then. Slightly wider line. Angus Laurie, Lisa Watson. They set a 7:36 through stage 1, first time round. They'll be looking to improve on that. They're trying to fend off John Stone at the minute. He's got Rhys Stoneman alongside in car number 7. They just 8 seconds back from Angus after one stage, and then it's just that 1 second gap into Pete Gorse and Mark Twynham in car number 8. So a sizable gap from first to second, and it all starts closing up after that. So, just as before, big thank you to everyone tuning in. Mr. Woodford's back, thank you, Paul. Jim McCrellis is also watching. Damien Morley's watching. Thanks, Damo. Nice to see you on the live stream. Here is third car on the road. Car number 4, Michael Glendinning and Mark Mason. Mr. Woodford's trying to save my bacon here because he knows he's had stick for it for years now. And being the kind of person I am, I have not paid enough attention over the years to remember how to say Mark's surname, and I know it's been a sticking point for years and years, and I started this morning and I went, oh no, I can't remember how to say it. So Mr. Woodford's trying to save my bacon here, and I'm thankful for that, Paul. Twynham is how it's pronounced. You'll be in trouble. Thank you. I realised this morning when I first got here. The lovely focus of Mick O'Brien. Mr. Woodford to the rescue. I should have just texted you this morning, shouldn't I, Paul? That's what I should have done, and then it would have been all right. But yes, thank you very much to everyone tuning in. Again, like I said before, if any of you want to be a chance of winning a special stage Rallying Is Life bobble hat, then drop a comment into the live feed. Just let us know what you're up to this morning, where you're watching from, who's watching, who you're cheering on. It could well be this crew. John Stone, Rhys Stoneman in the Legend Performance Volkswagen Polo. Fantastic looking car. Yeah, I'll go with that, Paul. Isn't it great to see that car out? We weren't sure what focus it was going to be as well when we saw it on the entry list and we got here. Speaking to Gerb this morning from Paul Ben's Mechanics, who was running the car, and it was great to hear that car was on its way here. And it's always good to see a world car out. We get sort of complacent, don't we, with these R5s and that, but who'd have thought we want to see the world cars back out now? Well, we used to see so many of them years ago, and now there's not many knocking about. We want to get them back out in the forest. So big thank you to Michael for bringing that fantastic Focus out. Peter Gorst, Mark Twynham. See, I'm learning. Apologies, Mark. And family, because I know family are watching as well. They'll be cursing me. So Peter and Mark going well in the Evo. Currently lying third. So times in. Alan Carmichael 2 seconds slower than his stage time this morning on stage 1, 7:11 this time round against the 7:09 first time round. So conditions maybe slightly changing. However, having said that, Angus Lorry, Lisa Watson, they've gone much quicker, taking around about 15 seconds off their time in the Evo in car number 3. They set a 7:19, which is much more like what I was expecting this morning. So Mr. Carmichael really had his Weetabix this morning, and everyone seems to be just finding that pace now and catching up a little bit. So good stuff from Angus and Lisa. We'll get some more times through very shortly. Debbie Thompson is she's found it funny that I got the name wrong as well. Sorry about that. Simon's watching again. Dan Boardman also. Tony Wilkinson's back on board. He joined us towards the end of the last stream, so thank you for finding us again, Tony. We'll continue to be live throughout the day. Tommy and Simon Pickard then in the Mark II Escort, just dancing that back end of the car around this hairpin. Everyone seems to be taking a slightly wider line around this hairpin. Four-wheel drive Subaru Impreza of James Hall, Laura Marshall. They're taking chunks out of that Escort in front. James set an 8:02 this morning. Just 1 second quicker than Michael Glendinning in car 4. So times in for John Stone went 11 seconds quicker than this morning. And then Mick O'Brien also 10 seconds quicker than this morning. So everyone finding a little bit of pace over these stages. The only person not to was Alan Carmichael, but still quicker than everybody else. Hyundai seems to be really suited to these stages. We drove through them this morning, and like I mentioned this morning, it's quite a slippy surface. The silt seemed to have come to the top, and it was clagging the tyres quite a bit on the drive round this morning. And there's some sneaky little sections of this stage that could quite easily catch people out. Nick Kitchen, Steve Pugh, set an 8:30 through stage 1 this morning. They're in a right little battle with Steve Corky Ward and Dave Forrest. Ian Holt and Phil Boyle are just a little bit further up the road in the class as well. We'll see them very shortly. So Peter Gorse drops in with a 7:30 through this stage, so 15 seconds quicker than his stage 1 time. Slots him into 3rd overall, just ahead of John Stone. 2 seconds in it between Peter and John. Barry Lindsay up next then for us. Just missing his gearing slightly there in the Peugeot. Hard charging Barry Lindsay and Caroline Lodge. Currently 8th overall and first in Class 8 in the Peugeot. Luke Leonard is watching. Paul Pav-English is also watching. Luke, I hope you've got a beer in hand. It's probably just about past breakfast now, so one of those Belgian beers should be in your hand now whilst you're watching Special Stage. Unless you've drunk them all, of course. I can't imagine that. Michael Motes commenting that it's the closest he's getting to rallying for a while. Yeah, well, I didn't want to bring it up, to be fair. I'm glad you're here typing into these messages, and I'm glad you're able to watch the live streams, because having driven past you guys, well, past the car anyway, up on Argyle the other week, I'm staggered that you guys managed to get out of that. So I'm so thankful that you did. It was an unbelievable accident, awful scenes up there. So I'm so pleased that you were both okay, and relatively okay anyway, and that you can still tune in to us and watch Special Stage. So really pleased you're on board and you're commenting as well. You never know, you might be looking to get a hat. We'll send you a hat in the post. But yeah, thank you, Michael. Hope your recovery is going well. Dave Forrest, Jamie Forrest, set an 8:23 through here to go 11th quickest and second in class this morning. So we'll have a look at their times very shortly, so we seem to get a few more through. Tom Pickard, Simon Pickard, they've dropped 1 second on their stage 1 time. Everyone else is going slightly quicker. Just Alan Carmichael and Tom Pickard losing a fraction. Steve Ward, John Millington alongside. That's the line I was expecting. Nice tight line. These stages, it's tight. Well, I mean, we drove the big special stage bus through this morning. The straights are nice and wide in places. It's actually quite a nice wide track to look at and to drive through, so there's no problems. But when you get to the corners, They're sneaky here at Greystoke. The corners are actually quite tight. They seem to narrow up on you. And they've got anti-cut devices on the insides, which has been built up specifically for testing the World Rally cars. And yeah, the corners are more narrow than the straights, which is a little bit tricky in places. You feel like you're getting into a rhythm and you're nice and relaxed because you've got plenty of space around you. And then it's quite tight, especially if you get the car sideways. There's not a lot of space to dance an escort sideways through these forests in places, and it's a bit wider here because we have another track coming off it. But some of the corners, not junctions, but some of the corners don't lend themselves to drifting around, as we see car 44, Roger Burkill, and the raucous Evo 10. Setting a time of 8:39 through stage 1 this morning. If any of you out there want to catch up with results and keep an eye on proceedings throughout the day, you can head to rallies.info. They are in charge of results this weekend, and you can go through individual results or class results, overall results for everybody. It's all it's all on there. William Fisher and Ross Green in the Evo. Currently 19th overall in that Evo 9. Sean Cunniff, Scott Davies, Matty Daniels and Steve Harkness all tuning in as well on Facebook. Thank you guys for joining us. Pleasure to have you all on board this morning. Hope you're all well. Let's have a little flick across and see what's happening on YouTube. So, Rallycar 79, Ian, Luke Watts, Flat Out Billy 10. John, Paul and Lisa all watching on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in, as a lot more of you are as well. Johnny Matheson and Ian Bass making their way through in the first of the minis. It'll be interesting to see how they fare at the top of this leaderboard for the minis. So Tom Hine and Sue Hine currently leading the way in the minis over Charlie Matheson and Ian Bass. 6 seconds of difference, but it'll be close, that will, throughout the day. That'll be really interesting to see how that battle develops. It should be Tom and Sue, if I remember rightly. You can hear that supercharger whirring as it comes into view. Late on the brakes, get it stopped, throw it in. Keep an eye on them results, and I'll try and bring you an update very shortly, the next 10 minutes or so, when we get those crews to the end of the stage. Let's have a little refresh and see what's happening. Michael Glendinning is now showing us he's finished the stage, 7:45, so he's taken a good chunk, almost 20 seconds out of his stage 1 time, so it felt like he'd had a problem, spin maybe or something like that this morning, first time round. Just a little slower than I was expecting. Car 4, that is. Mark Mason alongside, 7:45 his second time, so 28 seconds the difference. Or 18, depending on how you work your maths out. Christina Robinson, Grum Wilcock, car 43. Got to 24th overall with a setting a time of 9 minutes. They lost a handful of seconds this morning on the first run with a stall here, as did a few crews actually, but yeah, stall in the car here, and took a few seconds to get the car back up to speed. But this time around, not so bad. Just not getting that back end of the Peugeot flick round quite far enough for the tight hairpin here. Best line, real quick entry, perfect on the apex, and then quick away as well. Luke Constantine, Tom Constantine, and that first of the MG3s. 8:55 was his time through the stage, first thing this morning, second in class, just 1 second behind Niall Cowan Jr. in the MG3s. But yeah, going really well there. It'll be interesting to see his time at the end of this one. Barry Lindsay went 6 seconds quicker this time around as well. Ryan Walker, Paul Gribben, set a time of 9:15 first time round. The weather's just improved a little bit. Ryan and Paul breaking into the top 30 in the MG3. To find around about 20 seconds a stage if they want to be bothering the crews in front of them. Robbie Wood, Stephen Brown. Sounded fantastic coming down the straight into it. Almost on the limit of coming into interview there. Bouncing as well, late on the brakes, and looking like they found a turn of pace as well going into stage 2. Now Cowan Jr. then and Ashley Thompson making their way through. I have to say, with only 1 second between him and Luke, a little bit of a wider line through here. I reckon that 1 second could have gone here. A lot of stages that we can't see, but certainly in front of us here, I would say Luke was really on it through this section of stage. Really impressive. So if that continues, I imagine there's going to be a lead change for the class in the MG3s. We will see as soon as I get those times through. Next up for us, one of the minis, the R53 spec, supercharger fitted. John Day and Emma Cooper, that was. Car 26. Okay. Next up then, Peter Gorge. Charlie Stevens in the little MX-5. I'm just trying to see if I can see any retirements. I'll do that. You can also find that out yourself on the rallies.info website. So if you want to break down individual results or all up results for everyone, rallies.info is the place to be. So retirements then. So we had Elliot Payne and Phil Burton, two cars that didn't start the event. Shame not to see Elliot and Henry Sunderland here. Car number 2, Phil Burton, Neil Chambers, and also car 5, they couldn't make it either, so they didn't start. Retirements then. So it's showing as Anthony Hansen, Brad Sowerby. Car 21 says they've retired. And Jack Birch, Mike Jode in the Mini. Car 25. As well as car 35, Aidan Gregory and Peter King. All showing as retirements on the rallies.info website. Dave Ellis and Alan Edwards then in the Proctor's Coaches Mini, making their way through. Keep an eye out then for Jacob Neal and Grace Pedley. Hearing on the radio they may have stopped in stage. So we'll bring you more details on that as and when we have them. Rob Fisher, Charlotte Wainwright. Car 31, they're making their way through. Okay. The sun is out in Greystoke. This is something we weren't expecting today. Carl Cowan Senior and Chris Wareham. Making all the right noises in the little MG3. Currently tied for 7th in class. 40th overall. If I remember rightly, this was the MGZR that was going really well this morning. David Coatsworth, Chris Patterson still pushing on. Yeah, going really well, isn't it, that car? 26th overall and 2nd in class after stage 1. Setting a time of 8:43. Still waiting to see or hear anything from Jacob Neal and Grace Pedley. Max Grauer, car 34, Phil Brammer. Committed. Okay, let's flick back to the streams then. Have a little look at what's going on. Shout out to you all watching on YouTube. Lachlan Hunter, car 18. Another one of the MGs making his way through. Okay, so Conor Neal wants to know how Harry Walshaw's doing in car 1. He's not doing too bad at all, to be fair, Conor. Actually leading the event quite comfortably at the minute with that Hyundai of Alan Carmichael. Paul and Liz also, hello again from Lancaster. Looking forward to the Chevette. Yeah, hopefully that'll be through any time now, actually. Won't be far off, that Chevette. Fantastic looking car. And a big shout out to everybody else watching on YouTube. That's a little bump on the approach, isn't there? Getting slowed down is one thing. Well done. Well done, that man, Carl Wilson, Mark Broadbent. Managing to get that car stopped. Carl and Mark are eager for the Greystoke Championship round. They like it here. Carl's first time and Mark's third time on the event. Their first 3 events were inconsistent and they placed Carl around about 3rd in the championship. And they aim to take 2nd place in the championship this weekend here if they have a good run. Consistency is their priority though, with a podium finish as a minimum of their targets. A disappointing run on Pendragon, and they're hoping for a podium finish here, like I say. They've started to develop a really good partnership in the car, and hopefully a sign of things to come throughout the season, but going really well inside car 36 there. Carl Wilson, Mark Broadbent, 4th in class, 27th overall after one stage, setting a time of 8 minutes 50 they did on their first stage this morning. Sven Grube, Alfie Element, in that funky Mini, setting a time of 9:18 this morning, 4th in their class as well, 35th overall. It's a good looking car, isn't it? Fancy colour scheme. Looked a little bit like Woodford's when he had his outing at Cadwell. This was green, Sven's was orange. Russ Thompson, Sean Crowley, Grant Victory and Ian Bell all watching and joining the live stream as well. Am I in the draw for the hat once you've finished knitting them? I think we can do that for you. Yeah, of course. We'll chuck you in the draw, shall we? Why not? Ian Bell Rally Photography. Yeah, we'll put you into the draw for the woolly hat. That'll be drawn in the coming days after the event. Get all the footage archived and online for the championship, and then I'm sure producer Wayne will sit down and knit a hat for you. One of you will win. Gordon Galbraith is following both teams. I don't know which teams they are though, Gordon, let us know. Richard and Julia Perry then in the sweet sounding Nova, going nicely. Julia pivotal to the organisation of this mini challenge championship that's running today, alongside Guy Butler and the rest of the team. A big thank you to the sponsors and everyone who puts their time and effort into that championship. It really is a fantastic little championship, one-make championship that anyone, absolutely anyone, can get involved with. If you speak to some of the competitors as well, there's some great stories about their cars and where they've acquired the shells from and the parts and how they maintain them. I know one chap's fully built his rally car from scratch after buying a car for 400 quid. He's been doing it on his driveway and competes now on rallies in this fantastic little Mini for relatively cheap. Let's say when it comes to motorsport, we know it's expensive, but this little championship is as cheap as you can get when you're rallying. It's a great fun little championship as well, really well supported, and Guy and Julia and the team there always do a fantastic job. We're always welcome as well, which is really nice. They always look after us. There's always a cup of coffee on hand when we get there. They always include us and everything. So yeah, fantastic little championship to be a part of. And I have to say the awards due at the end of the season has got to be one of the highlights as well. So make sure you get along to that. Rear wheel drive Fiesta up next then. Colin Treby, Gareth Price, car 42. Currently 5th in class, set a time of 9:22 on the first stage. So the rumours sound like they're true about our missing crew in the Minis. Tim Bradshaw, Steve Harris identical line to this morning, actually. Both stages identical, just bouncing as they approach this hairpin, slightly wider line, and just cocking the back end of the car up in the air as they're hard under brakes for this corner. I mentioned this morning that Tim has had a bit of a torrid time over the last 12 months or so, 18 months, suffering from a broken neck on the Dakar Rally, and first time back out really competing, and what a fantastic story that is to be able to see and tell that Tim is back out competing on these stages after being told he'd probably never drive or rally again. So yeah, brilliant to see that. Steve Harris, no stranger to rallying. He's co-driven for many famous faces in the world of rallying over the years, including one Jari Matti-Latvala, who was out last weekend in Belgium in the stunning Toyota Celica. Really good to see that car. Mark Turner, Harry Mansfield in the Mini. Going nicely, a little bit quicker than this morning. Had a problem or so this morning. 10:45 was their opening time. Putting them 48th overall, so we're working on improvements there. I should mention, we'll let this Mini come through first, or these two Minis come through, and then I'll mention a little feature we've got coming up. That's good to see. So Peter and James Sharples first up in their Mini, and they're being chased down now by Ricard 29, I think it was, and that was Jacob Neal, who we were missing. So I'm glad to see Jacob is back up on the road again and going. So whether they had a puncture or a problem, they're up to speed again now, and it's all good. So yes, I was mentioning there, we have a feature on Special Stage coming up in the coming months or so. It's work in progress at the minute, and there's plenty of things going on behind the scenes. We were having a very good chat with a few of the drivers over in Ypres last week, ready for a feature that we're working on. So we had a good conversation with Jari Matti-Latvala about his times driving some of the Toyotas, and Freddie Loix as well, and his exploits around the Belgian Championship, as well as one Patrick Schneers, who was a pleasure to talk to. He was telling us all about how he'd love to come back over and do some events in the UK, and we were trying to persuade him to bring a BMW M3 back to the Isle of Man, which didn't sound like it was out of the question, did it, when we were talking to him? He seemed pretty keen. If he could get his sponsors to pay, he would be happy to do it by the sounds of it. So that's something we could try and work on. I expect to see him over in the UK or Ireland rallying at some point in the future. We will see. We'll wait for that one. But yeah, lots of exciting things to come on Special Stage. Kevin Ablett, Tana Ablett, car 46 in the Mini, being chased down by Flo. Going nicely, car 48. So Flo's out this weekend. She's not actually registered for the championship. She's in a slightly more tweaked Mini, and she's just getting a sight set on the road to the RAC, which she's going to be doing at the end of the season. So it's going to be a hell of a challenge for Flo and the rest of the team. She's doing this weekend and the Nicky Grist next weekend as a chance to shake the car down and develop it and make it more robust. I think it's probably the best word to use for the RAC as well. Make it more robust as well for when they head to the stages, and they're supporting the main event on the Roger Albert Clark. Going well, nevertheless. car 49 then. Paul Green and Andrew Side sliding their way through. 9:26 was the time they set this morning. Let's have a little look. I did say I would check in on the battle at the top of the minis, didn't I? Mr. Constantine and Hind battle. Well, let's see. It's not gone the way I thought it was going to go. A fantastic 8:16 was Tom and Sue Hind's time through stage 2. That's actually 23 seconds quicker. 23 seconds quicker than Luke. So I think there must be a problem or a spin or an overshoot for Luke and Tom Constantine there. It was much closer than that, and they did seem to be pushing on through here, so maybe a little mistake. Ollie Wood and Kenny Cockshott in that Subaru Impreza, they're getting to grips with that car, aren't they? Really working it. Ben Hearsay and Matthew Hearsay, they're going to have their mirrors filled with Group N Subaru very shortly, as Oliver Wood and Kenny Cockshott are really reeling them in front, so they'll have made almost a minute up as they came through us here. And we're probably sort of 2/3 of the way through the stage, I would say. So yeah, it looks like Luke may have had an issue in that mini, because they were certainly pushing on past us, and with it being so tight after the first stage, to lose 23 seconds on this stage to Tom and Sue Hind in the similar car, that tells me they've had an issue. Charlie Matheson was the closest to Tom in the minis through stage 2, setting an 8:24. Cal Wilson 8:26. He said he wanted a podium. He's pushing that way, isn't he? I think he's fighting for that last step at the minute, so promising stuff. So working towards the end of the field here for stage 2, we'll be packing everything back into the van and shifting all our equipment just down the road a little bit here. Actually, we're going to see a similar section of stage, but in a completely different format, and we'll have a nice change of scenery and hopefully some more great action like we've had throughout the morning. It's about a half an hour gap between this stage and the next one starting, so just enough time for us to shift everything over and get ourselves set. Might even grab a bite to eat. Surely it's breakfast time now. I'm still waiting for that bacon butty to be dropped off. We have an expert bacon butty builder in the service park. Who was it now? Yes, there we go. Julie Sharples specialises in bacon butties, is what I've been told. So Andrew Towers, Brenton Towers in the Avenger, making steady progress through the stage. And they've got the Peugeot chasing them down. Greg and Ian McCutcheon, I think that was car 52. So we're only a third of the way through the Greystoke Stages rally 2025, and the weather's just brightened up for the morning. We'll see how things progress into the afternoon. I'm not sure it's going to stay like this, But whatever the case, we will be live for you for the next 4 stages. Stages 3 through to 6. The fantastic Mazda 323. Rob Green and Andy Turner. Variety is the spice of life, and it is always good to see something a bit different. And Mazda 323s, we don't see too many of them, but I had a bit of a soft spot for those back in the day. Was it late 80s, early 90s, Mr. Goldring? Expert nerd. Yeah. I'm getting the nod of approval. We all refer to ourselves as rally nerds, but I'm not the rally nerd that everybody else is. To a degree, I like my rally. I love my rally. I live my rally. Like, this is my life. However, I don't know every single number plate and VIN number for all the cars like some of these crackpots I work with. Ian Holiday, Jane Wright in the Ford KA, car 54. Going well. Good little car for the stages here with the tight corners. Nice and short wheelbase will give them a little bit of an advantage, I reckon. Mr. Woodford is a bit of an expert when it comes to nerdery, rally car nerdery. Producer Wayne goes about his business quietly. He just sits there researching stuff all day long. Well, Mr. Woodford, he has to talk about it as well, so he comes across like he's like an encyclopedia of rally cars. Okay, Hazel Johnson, Stephen Butler then, and the little purple Micra, car 55. Might not have all the power in the world, but it's certainly putting a smile on their faces, and they're having some fun in that little car. It's going quite well, isn't it? Nice and smooth, keeping the revs up. So that's looking like the last car on the road then. Car 55, Hazel and Stephen rounding things off for stage 2 here on the Greystoke Stages Rally. We will be going back live again in around about half an hour's time for stages 3 and 4. 7.02 miles of gravel action to bring you then in around about half an hour's time. Go and get yourselves another brew. Put the washing on. Kids' uniforms for tomorrow, don't forget them. And we'll see you back on special stage in around about half an hour's time. We'll see you very soon.